Okay, friends, have created a tool which is to assess and evaluate a startup idea, which you can see here, a comprehensive AI startup assessment. So, like, how did I arrive at this? It's because, like, of late we have been seeing that there are many startups who are struggling to understand if their idea works, and they realize this problem of late when they have burnt enough of dollars, and when they knock on the investor's door, almost 90% of them don't find any investor to invest. The reason is they haven't done their homework. So, like, there is a significant process that happens to actually assess a startup idea. And when it comes to AI startup, I think there is a different way actually to assess it. So I thought, why not use AI to actually understand how AI looks at AI? So, like, I just I asked Claude to provide me a significant enough like a framework to assess an AI startup idea. I think you can see it in the screen here. And there was a bit of a prompting I did, and a bit of deliberation with Claude, and ultimately I was able to arrive at this framework. This framework, like, it poses a bit of questions to the founders or those who have a startup idea, and then based on that, it will rank whether the responses would actually, like, are they excellent, good, average, poor, very poor, something like that. So this is one of the very like, one of the ideas that actually work in case we are sincere with updating this particular data into the system, and then it evaluates and will tell you where your idea stands. Okay, so the idea is to ensure that you don't spend significant amount of money before you start a product, especially a product, yeah. So coming to this framework, we have different sections here where we assess market opportunity and problem validation, that is section 1. Then we would evaluate AI and technical visibility. We have given weightage to each of this. And then there is competitive advantage differentiation. The next one is business model and economics. And then we have execution risk and requirements. And then team and execution capability. Okay, so this is the criteria that we have, and obviously it will all add up to 100. So when you actually give your responses to each of these questions, and based on your responses, the framework would evaluate whether your idea is, good for investment, or it needs some kind of improvement. Like, where does it stand? Generally, it is, like, 85 to 100. It will be exceptional. 70 to 84. It will be high potential, promising, and moderate will be 55 to 69, and low potential will be 40 to 54, and below 40 it's not good. So this is an assessment generally accepted, and this is also the kind of marks that you get in your exams. So based on that, to make it easy, we have ensured that it aligns with that. And it also tries to do some red flags. Any section scoring below 50% or max in any of this criteria, and if your market opportunity is below 12 out of 20, and technical feasibility score below 10 out of 20, and no clear competitive advantage, that is section 3 is less than 10 out of 20. Okay, so next is innovation and strategic positioning. So this is very important. There are some questions on that. And then you have Porter's 5 force analysis. So this is significant enough. And like, we don't have many questions, but we have questions enough to gauge the data. And there are strategic factors that actually assess, like, where we stand here. And we have AI specific risk assessment, which is quite necessary because unless we do this, we are not actually doing the assessment. And then obviously we have data rights and quality, we have AI safety and explainability, then regulatory preparedness, quite obvious, then technical scalability and reality. Okay, so we also have market readiness and timing. So what is market readiness and timing? Like when you should actually release and for what purpose. Then we have regulatory timeline risk. Okay, so this is very important in certain geographics of the particular countries. So we have to keep that in mind as well, because especially Europe has some regulations, and obviously China has a lot of regulations. So we have a score here. Like we have added some more sections of it based on my prompting and feedback. Especially we have added regulatory timelines and like market readiness. So this was prompting the Claude that got me into this. So to make it more specific to AI assessment. Okay, fine. Now the total when you add, wherein we have given some score to each of it, will be 170. That's the weighted score, and this is the distribution. This is the final distribution. So the final distribution would be, if you score 144 to 170, you are exceptionally good. That means there is good scope of investment into the idea. And then if you are anywhere between 190 to 143, you have high potential. That means there is a lot of promise there, but there are a bit of risk there as well, but manageable. Then you have 94 to 118. If you score anywhere between these, then there is some improvement needed, but it is moderate. You still have some improvement to make, but you are good enough to be confident that you can go ahead with it. But if you score anywhere between 68 to 93, then it's quite obvious that it's low potential, and there are major concerns in multiple dimensions, and this is what the assessment would focus on, and it will give you the report, which will actually give you the rightful statistics and recommendations that you can download, and you can actually use it for your idea evaluation. So that's the advantage of that. And if you score anywhere between, I mean, below 68, so that's very poor, and you should really want to really redo what you have been doing. You really want to change your idea. So that's the kind of assessment that we want to make. And there are also some critical red flags that the assessment would give you out, especially for this. In case there are some, the red flag is actually obvious. Unless you solve red flags, you can't move ahead. So ideas should not have red flags. The idea is there is a zero red flag, and that is where you actually push your idea further to invest your time and money, and then disturb the investors. So, what are the critical red flags you see here? It is market opportunity. Okay, obviously, if there is no market, you shouldn't build it. Then, AI specific risk assessment. It's obvious have AI product in mind, and you have to do the AI specific risk assessment. Then, technical feasibility. Obviously, can you really build it? Do you have it in you to build it? Okay. So then these are the primary three red flags. If any of this is there, you should not move ahead unless you resolve it. Then any other section below 40% of its maximum points. Quite obvious. 40% is a cutoff. Like if you score below 40, you fail there. Better not move ahead unless you have an alternative there. And then there is something called API dependency, and since API dependency is good enough, if you have something that actually give significant value to the consumers, and then you don't escalate the cost, and you can scale with minimum investment. But if you think that it's heavy API dependency and there is no other value giving to the consumers, you are wasting your API tokens. That's a bad idea. That's not good strategy. So you should not. That's a red flag. Okay. So, and there are early warning indicators. So, like you can have market readiness and timing, the regulatory preparedness, customer AI literacy, data rights and quality. So, these are also warning signals. They may not stop you, but you better look at that. You better have a clear look at what you're doing. Then we have AI specific success patterns. Okay, so like, how do you know? There is this model actually has some success factors embedded into it. So that is the model also assesses the same. What it does is startups with proprietary models, that is um, that is section 10.1, score more than 4 show higher success rates. So these are the sections that actually evaluate your idea. So it is only referring to the section, but if you score good enough, then it means to say your model is good. Then how about data flywheel? Okay, companies with improving data quality over time build stronger modes. Obviously your data quality should keep flying. Explainable AI. Okay, the problem with AI is, it's new, it's amazing, it's terrific, but it's also confusing, and it can be threatening to some of the societies because of the nature that it is to begin with. Okay, so you must ensure that you are, you follow the regulations, and you have enough interfaces to explain in the sense that the end user should understand what he or she is doing with respect to data, with respect to regulations, with respect to usability, and quite obvious user experience. So that is one aspect where you can say, okay, this is good. Like my AI would actually is self-explainable. Chat GPT is one good example. So there is another called timing advantage. Okay, so are you really the first person to do it, or there are 20, 50, 100 people who are already doing it? If you want to simply generate an image, video, text, I think there are already people doing it. Better not do it. So have a differentiation. If you really have it, and if you are new, if you bring something new, you better do it early, and you do it agile way. You release some packets and ensure that you get the feedback and you continue with it. So but ensure that you are early. Okay, there are some additional qualitative considerations that includes timing, macro trends, like what's happening around, ethical considerations, obviously exit potential. Okay, so ESG factors, so environmental factors. Are you burning up more tokens than what is needed? Talent retention, how is your team dynamics? Okay, so this is the kind of assessment framework that we have built using Claude and prompting. This is AI being used to assess AI. Good thing. Now, what I'm going to do is, what I've done is, I have now I need a user interface to ensure that I explain this out to begin with, and then I give out a link or something like that to a web page where you can actually input your ideas and then start evaluating yourself where your idea stands, where your startup AI idea stands, and like how do you score with it. So what I did was actually I took this and this complete framework, and I went to Mr. Bolt. So of late, I have been using Bolt, but I can also use Lovable, whichever works for us. We can use it. So I prompted, and what I did was I created a web page to assess a startup AI idea. So here you can see I gave a document as an attachment, which actually contains what we have discussed until now, a framework to assess AI startup. Okay, so what we have done is I have attached this, and then I have also told the criteria for scoring, which is also available in the document. And then I asked Claude to take some of the parameters before beginning, that is the founder name, city, email, product name, and also product idea brief. Okay, so what happens is Mr. Claude comes up with this beautiful user interface. It's a web page, and let's name it comprehensive AI startup assessment. Okay, so we have ensured that it is scientific enough to actually assess your idea. We don't use any bias, or we don't use any sentiments to begin with. We go only with the parameters that we have discussed to keep it very objective and to align with the latest trends in the AI startup. So that is what we have tried to do. Okay, so it's an advanced framework and it has 11 comprehensive sections, 170 scoring point systems, and then AI specific risk assessment, red flag detection, strategic recommendations. So much, So how it starts is, initially we may have to give a founder's name, and then we may have to give a city name where your founder is residing, and your email address, product name, and then a product idea description. This is, to ensure that these details are embedded inside the recommendations that you're going to download at the end of the session. This is nothing, this data is not collected anywhere. This is a static page. This is not something that the page would retain anywhere, neither locally nor in either server. This will only be helpful to ensure that it gets printed in the PDF recommendation report that you actually download at the end of the session. Okay, so let's get started, and let me give my founder's name. I am the founder here. Okay, obviously Silicon Valley, Bengaluru or Bangalore, whichever you think is, you can do that. And I can give you some dummy name like supermaxai at the rate of gmail.com, or why Gmail. If I'm giving it, I can give it as tesla.com or anything, chatgpt.com. This is a fake dummy email ID just to show how this works. Okay, now comes the question, friends, we have to assess an AI idea. So let's not give something dummy here. What we should do is, let me bring out some very beautiful AI startup idea. Okay, so the idea is I want to assess a resume for its potential match with the job description. Okay, so what do we call this? Let's call this, um, let's call this resume matcher. I'm taking a very simple AI idea, and I'm not at all making it any complex. I'm not doing any video or image, to make it much simpler for me and for you to understand. And here I may want to give my product AI description idea of the description of the idea. Here, I want to tell you that this description is only to ensure that this description goes into the report that we generate at the end of the day. But the report doesn't depend on this description at this stage. Okay, so the report entirely is objective because description is subjective. We don't have to, be subjective at this stage, but we can still make it an add-on in the future versions. But right now, it is very objective, and it will only go by the scoring system that we have discussed earlier. Okay, so the objective MCQ is all that matters, and this description doesn't matter to us. But we will put the description anyway, so to ensure that it, we have to understand what we are evaluating. Otherwise the report may not make sense to begin with. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a 1,000 character idea using the resume matcher. This is the product name. I'm going to go to Claude. I'm going to ask Mr. Claude, create 1,000 character idea to match resume with job description using OpenAI API. Okay, let it be innovative, unique in the sense that there are differentiations. Okay, there are some differentiations. There are strategic differentiations, or you can like some differentiations, strategic differentiations, easy to build, scalable, technically feasible. Okay, So friends, we are not going much deeper into this idea at this stage. The reason is like we are demonstrating idea assessment. So this should be good enough to begin. Okay, so the assessment would ask us much more questions. There we may have to deliberate more. At this stage this should be fine with me. Okay, so good, done. So this is the idea: a dual-sided AI platform that simultaneously optimizes resumes for specific jobs while providing recruiters with candidate compatibility scores and improvement suggestions. So it can be a B2B and also B2C idea. Okay, so businesses can leverage it, and also the candidates can self-check. So this is our idea, and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Okay. This is good enough to begin with. And you can see here, it also tells you what you can expect from this assessment. 40 plus questions across 11 comprehensive categories. Okay, AI specific analysis, including model dependency and regulatory risk, red flag detection for critical investment risk, very important, investment perspective, and strategic recommendations with actionable next steps. Like you have someone telling you what you need to do with the idea. You may not have to run across various groups, chat groups, or LinkedIn or Mr. XYZ to get your idea assessed. Like this simple framework will actually tell you where you stand and gives you that strategic recommendations. Unless you really want to ignore it, I think it's going to be useful. Let's test it. Now begin. Great. Cool. Okay, now you see this comprehensive assessment begins, and you can see there is a heading here: comprehensive assessment, resume matcher, and it starts here. And you can see there is a progress bar here, and it will also tell you how much of percentage of the assessment is completed. Friends, you need to be a bit patient here, and you need to be very sincere about what you're doing. If you're not sincere, this is not going to work. You have the best of the frameworks available here right now, but you need to put your sincere efforts to ensure that you have the rightful data before you actually begin this assessment. If you are not sure, discuss with your co-founders, technology team, business team, go back and prepare your answers. So don't arbitrarily test it, although you can do it, but the report may not be helpful. So prepare yourself precisely by we are doing this session so that you understand what this framework is, and what kind of assessment it is, and what kind of data you need to bring in to ensure that you get the rightful assessment of your AI idea. It's amazing. Let's go. Okay, so now because there are so many sections here, you can see each section is divided like this on the left bar. Progress by category: market opportunity, AI technical feasibility, competitive advantage, business model and economic model, execution risk and requirements, team and execution capabilities, innovation and strategy, Porter's five forces analysis, very important, strategic factors, AI specific risk assessment, market readiness and timing. Amazing. So we have 11 different categories for you to assess your AI idea. Let's get started. We also know what is the score here. If you are sincere enough, this course should not make you biased, because just because you see something scores highest, it doesn't mean that you have to click on it. That is not, you don't have to it's not good to fool ourselves, but it's essential that we give the rightful sincere data as input to this assessment so that you get the rightful output and report that you can use to course correct and save probably $1 million going forward. So, like, I may not exaggerate, but I think it does solve. It does solve that problem of uncertainty, which is very, very problematic in AI startups. Okay, so now how critical is the problem your AI solution addresses? Now we know, friends, resume matchmaking. It's very critical. Okay, but can we say it is mission critical? Are we doing any real life analysis? No, I don't think we are doing any real time analysis. What we are doing is basically, we are solving an important problem, but not mission critical. Okay, are we doing any important problem with clear negative impact? Okay. So what is the negative impact here? Let's see that one. Moderate problem that people notice. This is, I think, we stand here at this stage. We stand here at this stage because, like, it's not mission critical, and there is no negative impact if you don't solve it to begin with. So I can't even say that it is option two. Probably it is option three. Okay. Now, there is another question that is popping out. Once you answer the first one, there is another one. What is the total addressable market size? Okay, so obviously it cannot be in billions. So I don't think so. I think it should be less than $10 million because, like, automating it and putting it in the entire product in a SaaS mode, subscription and stuff like that. Let us even if I charge $1, then you need a million people to actually subscribe to it. So I would say it is less than $10 million. So that's my sincere opinion. Okay. Next, how well defined is your target customer segment? Okay. So here, friends, we are very clear about what we are doing. Okay. So specific personas with validated willingness to pay. I am only targeting LinkedIn professionals and above certain criteria of salary. So they are going to pay. I'm sure about that. So I'm confident on this. How urgent is solving this problem right now? Immediate need driven by external forces. No, I don't see any need of this kind. Strong current demand with clear drivers. Moderate current interest, future need but not urgent now, no time pressure, unclear timing. So I think, friends, strong current demand with clear drivers is the answer. The reason is we have clear directions of what we are doing, and there is surely demand for this, and I'm sure it is very strong, although I don't think people would pay significant amount, but it is strong enough. Okay, let me go with this. How technically feasible is your AI solution with current technology? Okay, so I haven't thought about technical aspects yet, but considering that I do know some of the aspects in AI, and I have some founders who have actually evaluated this idea, given that I won't come to the stage unless I do that. So I would still say, established methods requiring some innovation, because if I'm not that confident, I won't come here. But this is my opinion. Again, your opinion may differ because your startup and your idea obviously differs. How accessible is the data needed to train operate your AI? Obviously, I can download a resume from LinkedIn and I can start my JD and resume validation. So, like, abundant public data or easy generation. Okay, so, like, again, it depends from your ideas to ideas. How essential is AI to solving this problem? Okay, AI is significant here, but I can do this without AI. But when I say AI, what it means is there any alternative to AI? Yes, there are alternatives to AI. I can write a Python script. I can do some text matching algorithms and stuff like that. At the same time, I can use OpenAI API, generative AI, which is much faster, and I can drive it in different directions I want. I can derive the report or the output parameters in a way that normal algorithmic coding may not work out, because I have to feed the data and I have to significantly ensure that it scales. So for that matter, mm, I need AI, but it doesn't mean that there are no alternatives. I'm very sincere here. AI is not the only solution, but AI provides significant advantages over alternatives. I think this is more clear answer. Okay, then how well can your AI solution scale technically? Okay, so when you say technically, obviously what capabilities we have to actually scale it to begin with. Okay, highly scalable with decreasing marginal cost, good scalability with manageable cost, moderate significant scaling, poor scaling. See, highly scalable with decreasing marginal cost, this is also an option for me because I can automate this entire process. Or good scalability with manageable cost. I don't want to say that it is highly scalable at this stage because I haven't tested it yet. My idea is still not that great or tested with a POC or a POV. So what I'm going to do is I would still go with good scalability with manageable costs. Next, how crowded is the competitive space? There is space. There is space for everyone, but there are already competitors. Okay. Now, this is where we have to be sincere. Is this something new that we are doing? I think there are people who have already done that. There will be people who will be doing it again. Unfortunately, I have to go with this option because it's crowded and it's hard to differentiate. But my confidence and my experience tells me that I can bring some differentiation. At this stage, I'm not sure, but yes, we can do some differentiation and we can ensure that we have some differentiation. So, my confidence tells me that I can do with moderate competition. Okay, so how defensible is your competitive position? Yeah, okay. Okay, so what am I doing here? Strong network efforts, proprietary data, patents? No, I don't have any of that. Multiple barriers to entry. Do I have multiple barriers to entry? I have some barriers, but I don't think there are multiple barriers because this idea is a bit obvious to many. So I may want to create barriers, but I don't think I have multiple barriers at this stage. No, I don't want to go with that. So I would say I have some competitive modes. I'm going to ensure that I do have some differentiation, although it may not be many, but I do want to create my own mode. Some walls I want to build around. Okay, I will go with this. Some competitive modes. Okay, how unique and compelling is your value proposition? Okay, so it's not revolutionary. I'm not building anything that revolutionary. I'm not building a robot. Significantly better than existing solutions. That depends on what I do at this stage. I can't say it's significantly better. No, moderately better with clear benefits. I think, friends, this is what suits us because this is the approach we take. We are not the best, but we will ensure that we create some differentiation walls. I will go with this. How important is being first to market? Yeah, critical first, more advantages, winner takes all. I don't think so. There is space for everyone. As I told in the first, that there is a lot of competition, but there is space. There is space for us as well. Even at this stage, we have space. Strong first mover benefits, yes. Moderate timing advantages, probably. Timing less critical or no first mover. There is first mover advantage here, but since it is a perpetual engine where people keep graduating, they keep getting jobs, they keep changing jobs, technologies change, skill sets change. So this is an ever increasing mode. So I would say moderate timing advantages would matter. The reason is, if there is a technology change, a job change, that is where actually your algorithms tweak and you can actually take advantage of that. I would say moderate timing advantages. Okay. How clear and proven is your revenue model? Fantastic. So, as we discussed before, revenue also is a significant factor. Like, how do I visualize revenue here? I visualize revenue, the fact that we are targeting working professionals, and we are targeting working professionals with cut-off salary of certain money, and that gives us the confidence that they are going to pay, and we are very clear on that. And obviously, like, if you come to this stage and if you want to evaluate, your what I can say job description against JD. So we have both B2B and B2C models. So it is clear. Clear model with strong indicators of viability. I won't say validated because you haven't tested it. You can't. You have to test it, then come back. Clear model with strong indicators of viability. Okay. How reasonable is your customer acquisition strategy? Okay. This is very common. I would say reasonable CSC with clear acquisition channels. We have our own GTM strategy and we have experience doing it. So we will adopt this again. So like I won't say it's a copy paste. AI is the differentiator here. But since the basic strategy remains the same, I am reasonably good at it. To click on this reasonable CSC with clear acquisition channels. Okay, what is the potential customer lifetime value? So how soon I am going to get the customer, and then what is the time he is going to spend with me? Okay, so can we say very high LTV with strong retention expansion? Probably, but then we need to brand it, otherwise it won't happen. Good LTV with solid retention, yes, possible. Moderate LTV, low. What I suggest here is I would go with moderate LTV because I can still be good, but since there are competitors, I would like to say at this stage it can be moderate. Like unless I prove my differentiators, I can't be good or heavy. So I will go with moderate LTV. And how much capital is needed to reach product market fit? This is something that I do. I do the work in the background. So what happens here is that you have to sit with your chartered accountant or financial guys and chart out your. There is a different session we can do on this. How much money you need to actually build the product, do the GTM, and then see how good or how bad it is for the market, and what does it take. Like that is something you need to do with an Excel sheet. So right now, assuming that I have done this, I would go with moderate funding needs achievable with seed round. Okay, so let's be practical because nobody is going to give me significant money here. Okay, so and I cannot even go with very low. Like I can't even start with very low money. The reason is if I go with low money, it will take a lot of time for me to course correct. I have to build differentiators, friends. It's very important. Strategic differentiators come with cost. So for that matter, I would take a middle path. So I will go with moderate funding needs achievable with seed round. What are the regulatory hurdles? Do we have any regulatory hurdles, friends, here? I don't see any regulatory hurdles at this stage. The reason is the users bring their own data, validate it on their own terms and conditions, accepting our terms and conditions, and then we are transparent enough to tell them that what kind of data we expect and what is that we give in value. So this is the same for both B2B and B2C. So I don't see any regulatory hurdles at this stage. How dependent are you on external partnerships? I don't see any need for external partnerships, but there is one external partner that I would need, that is LinkedIn at this stage. And there may be more external partners coming in. For example, it can be Naukri.com or it can be Indeed.com, any other, job providing, or it can be remote job providers, anyone. But at this stage, I can say minor partnership needs. The reason is the users can still bring their CVs and upload and get their data. So I don't see any that kind of dependency here. This is only minor partnership dependency, or it can also be can execute independently. I would say minor because I am also going with B2B. How well suited is the founding team for this market? Okay, so this is on me. So I should ensure that I am sincere here. Obviously I don't have Elon Musk as a team member, but I have significantly good team members who have their own background and value to add. Okay, I would say strong relevant experience. How strong is the technical leadership? Yes, strong technical background. How innovative is the core AI technology? Moderate innovation with in AI implementation. Okay, so I'm yet to build a lot of strategic barriers, but I would say moderate. How innovative is the value creation delivery model? Great. Am I significantly innovative? No, 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 no. Not revolutionary. I would say moderate business model improvements. Does this create or transform market categories? No, I'm not building Tesla. I'm not doing anything significant. I would say moderate market impact. How difficult is it for new competitors to enter? Low barriers, relatively easy to enter. That's that's one like low point in this idea. How dependent are you on key suppliers? I don't need any supplier. We have multiple candidates to come and give us the CVs. So how much leverage do your customers have? Obviously, they have a lot of leverage. Uh, this is something like we have to think over because the buyers have mm, options. They can switch over. But if I build, as described earlier, if I build some strategic walls of differentiation, probably I can actually retain them for a while. Like I'm holding them. Don't go somewhere else. Stick with me. But how can I tell them? Cost differentiation, innovation, user experience, obviously customer support. So I would still go with balanced buyer seller relationship. How likely are customers to use alternative solutions? Obviously, AI is moderately better than substitutes. This is what I would like to say at this stage. Does value increase with more users? Obviously, it will increase because we have more and more CVs coming in, and my algorithm would be in a better place to actually serve more users in a better way. So I keep learning, reinforced learning. So I am going to do better with more data, more CVs, real good. Okay, strong direct network effects, viral growth potential. Yes. Could this become a platform others build upon? Probably I can give them an API. Yes, I would say moderate platform opportunities. How dependent is your solution on third-party AI models APIs? Um, this is the question that we need to, uh, proprietary models with full IP ownership, hybrid approach, some proprietary, some third-party, fine-tuned models on open source base, heavily reliant on third-party APIs, complete dependency on external AI services. Here at this stage, it is somewhere between fine-tuned models on open source base or heavily reliant on OpenAI. I still can use some open source. Llama is something that I can use. I can run it on the local machines. That is also possible, or I can drive it totally through APIs. And like there are advantages of using APIs is. There is a lot of operational issues that will be taken care of by the third party, and ChatGPT can do it really good. Especially the OpenAI guys are amazing. So, like, it's somewhere between something that I can manage using open source, or I can use OpenAI. So it's not very clear at this stage. But since I don't want to start with juggling with open source, which I know can actually cost a lot of time, and many I have seen many startup founders switching from open source and stuff to again open AI because managing and operational costs can actually supersede your innovation value. So you will struggle a lot with the infrastructure. So I would like to go with heavy reliance on third party. That is a bit of a low here. How secure are your data rights and quality? I am fully secure. I have full legal rights. How well can you explain and control AI decisions? Good explainability and safety measures. How prepared are you for AI regulations and compliance? Fully compliant with emerging AI regulations. This is considering that I have done my homework, which I should be doing it, and I don't want to put this into a red flag. How realistic are your technical scaling assumptions? Okay. Moderate scaling challenges, manageable cost, well architected for scale with reasonable cost prediction. So it is somewhere between here, but I would say I am confident at this stage. Is the underlying AI technology ready for your market application? Absolutely, it is there. Technology is mature and proven for this use case. How ready are customers to adopt AI solutions? High AI literacy, actively seeking AI solutions, good understanding, open to AI adoption, moderate AI awareness, low AI literacy, AI resistance. My customers come from educated background who are working professionals and who are interested to evaluate their CVs. That means to say they should have anywhere between good and high AI literacy. But since I am starting with the premise that like there are many people like me, it means they are already there, and like the system is evolved. It's not new, right? There are many people like that. So I think we can go ahead with and say good understanding open to AI adoption. Okay. How quickly can incumbents or competitors respond? They can respond in 24 hours, or it may take some time. Depends on like what barriers I build. For me, it would be fast because this is an AI era, so I have to prepare for it. I know this is a red flag, but I have to accept it. What is the regulatory timeline risk for your solution? I don't see any regulatory problems here, so I would say no regulatory timeline. Friends, have you seen like we have deliberated, discussed, and we have completed our session, and there were 38 questions, and you see we have finished this assessment questionnaire. I have updated as far as I know with the kind of idea that we have generated, and there may be slight variations based on where you stand or where your experience is. Depends. Again, I tell you, don't take your assessment casually. Ensure that you have done your homework. Your idea is your USP at this stage. It's your bread and butter, and it's the value to the consumers, it's the value to the investors, and it's the value to the founders. Okay, so ensure that you deliberate real hard on these questions. Now you know, at least like how the assessment is done and what are the highs and lows, that can be assessed, and so this is how it is done. Okay, so this is quite simple if I'm not wrong, because I didn't see any problems taking this assessment. It was just 38 questions, a bit of time, but it was worth it, provided you are sincere enough. Again, you have to be sincere enough and prepare yourself to address this particular assessment to ensure that you give the rightful input. Okay, so like now, friends, now is the time to see what is the capabilities of the idea that we have posted for assessment. Remember, we have our assessment was, I will again go back to it. Okay, so it was a resume matcher. Okay, it's a dual-sided AI platform that simultaneously optimizes resumes for specific jobs while providing recruiters with candidate compatibility scores and improvement suggestions. Okay, so the rest is all a lot of hullabulla, but this is the a core essence of this particular idea. Okay, so you can deliberate more, you can dig down deep into it, but this is the overall approach. And believe me, we are using OpenAI because we don't want to spend too much time deliberating on open sources at this stage. Okay, so when we come back here, now is the time we try and see what is the score that we get after assessing it using a tool called, well, I forgot what is the tool name. Sorry, it's an AI startup idea assessment tool. Okay, so let me press this and see where it stands. Go. Woo, 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 woo. Where is score? 108.8 out of 150 points. Okay, great. Now, where do we stand? It is promising opportunity with manageable risks and strong fundamentals. Wow. Woo. Great. Fantastic. So, friends, what this means is, if you um, like if you remember, we had this assessment where we had this criteria to say what is the assessment all about. It's about understanding the idea and actually giving you objective assessment and a bit of a score in numbers to tell you where your idea stands. Okay, so as per this report, where does my idea stand? It is 108.8 out of 150 points. Okay, now you can see here. Yeah, here we didn't go full throttle. That is, it is 170. But in my assessment, I have like only 150. So probably we took out two questions that like may not add significant value. But even otherwise, if you look at it, it stands anywhere between exceptional potential and high potential. Okay, so the similarly, the score that we get here is 108 out of 150. So it's a promising opportunity with manageable risks and strong fundamentals. So the opportunity is promising. Okay, the risks are manageable. That means you can take this risk. Go ahead. Strong fundamentals. This is very important, friends, because strong fundamentals, without strong fundamentals, no idea can stand the market pressure. Because market pressure is so intense with respect to AI that like they are building, believe me, they are building products in hours using chat gpt, Claude, lovable, obviously we are using Bolt here, and obviously they are using multiple like multiple streams of like data generation, presentation generation, idea generation, architecture generation. Obviously we have code generation, we all know this. And UI generation, obviously we have built this assessment tool in 15 minutes flat. You must understand, 15 minutes flat we built this. Imagine, this would have taken hours together, days together some time back, but I built it in 15 minutes flat. Okay, so like good thing is that AI is helping me to assess AI idea, like reinforcement. Okay, good thing. Now, so the best thing about this idea is it tells you what are the red flags to first. Like we discussed what are the red flags, right? And as we actually discussed while actually updating, like the assessment question with the answer, I told you heavy dependency on third-party APIs without clear differentiation strategy can be a red flag. But why did I choose this? The reason is I want to be sincere, friends. I don't want to fool myself thinking that, like everything is clear, like I'm going to go. No. If you think there is dependency, if you, even if it is a red flag, better accept it. Right now, I have a choice to make whether I want to continue with this red flag, or I accept this red flag and then mitigate it somewhere around the line, like as part of a business strategy. That is something, like we have to discuss with the founders, and then investors might probably come back to question you, haunt you about this. Okay, so accept your red flags, be sincere. And I have some warnings. Okay, so fast competitive response expected, limited time advantage, obviously. So like anybody can like challenge me here anytime. So that's why I need to build some differentiations. Precisely why I told you I need some good money. But I'm not going to expect a lot of money, but I need definitely some money I need, so that I do find out some differentiators and put them into the product to ensure that the product can defend itself against the competitors. Very important. Okay, now you can see, friends, there is amazing compatibility, or you can say analysis that is being done by the tool. And wow, actually, this is wow, actually. And the way it presents this, like feasibility is amazing. Okay, so first thing is, as I told you, there were 11 categories, and the feasibility assessment is all for the 11. Okay, so you can see market opportunity and problem validation. Okay, what, how much I scored? That is 13 out of 20. Obviously this is moderate level of matching, and the score was 25% of the total score, because market opportunity and problem validation, these are, like it occupies significant space. If you are a product manager, you know this well. Even otherwise, like a lot of investments goes into this. Okay, but my idea is, like a bit of moderate here. It's not low, it's not bad, it's moderate. Okay, so then what the tool tells me, it recommends me something. What does it do? Expand market research to validate growth assumptions. Okay, I have to do some research on the market. Okay, because there are some assumptions which I need to clear. That is something. And then developer deeper customer personas and use cases develop. Okay, this is very important. I need to go deep into it. What profiles, when, how, where, who, why they will pay, like what kind of JDs, what kind of CVs, all this blah blah blah. So I need to do that. Whether it is Bangalore, Mumbai, or Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, New York, London. So how is it? Do they trust your tools? Any of these places? Like I need to do a bit of. This is where your business analysis comes into picture. And then another category would be AI technical feasibility. Fantastic, folks. I scored real good, exceptional here. The reason is I know my team, they can do it. And the idea is quite compatible with our experience. So we can do this, we can do this real good. We know this. We know this stuff, we can do it. So that is how I score good here because I'm confident, real good here. Okay, so recommendation is lead technical innovation in AI space. Yes, I need to build my AI walls and then develop platform capabilities for the ecosystem. Quite obvious. Next, competitive advantage and differentiation. This is also very important, friends. And here I score 12 out of 20. It's moderate again, good. And what is a recommendation that I get is enhance competitive differentiations through innovation. So innovation is very important. I have to build my innovation wall. Build customer loyalty and switching costs. I have to. So if somebody has to switch from my platform to other platform, they should think twice. Okay. Then business model and economics. So I score real good here because the business model and the economics are quite clear in my mind, and I am straightforward on this. Okay, so I score 11 out of 15, that is level high, and weight 15% of the total objective score. Okay, so top recommendations here again is expand successful business models to new markets. Quite obvious. As I told you, jump from Bangalore to London, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong. We can earn more. Develop platform or marketplace revenue opportunities. Okay, so that's one more recommendation. Next, final. I'm sorry, no, it's not final. There are many more. Execution risks and requirements. Okay, so people build ideas. It's obvious that we have thousand ideas, but precisely why we built this tool to assess AI startup ideas objectively. But what is your potential to execute? Like how much can you eat? I know you can actually, like you think that you can eat a lot of bananas, apples, but actually, what is your potential? Can you really do that as given the idea? Okay, so for me, I am absolutely sure how much I can eat, and I'm exceptional in this case because I have my experience and I have my team. Okay, so even then, there are some recommendations. What it is, lead industry in execution and operational excellence. Okay, so I have to stay top of the line. Now I'm confident, but I should show in action. That's the point. Shape regulatory standards and requirements. So that is, like it comes with execution because you should not get too carried away by execution that you drop on legal requirements. Team and execution capability. Okay, same thing. Here I am going ahead with execution risks and requirements. Then again, here I am going with team and execution capabilities. Okay, so they are closely aligned. If one is good, I am sure the other should also be good. So here I score high. And what are my recommendations? Scale team for rapid growth and expansion. Okay, so this is important. And develop internal talent and leadership pipeline. Okay, so then Friends, this is a bit of a pain point as we discussed innovation and strategic positioning. This is not an out and out unique idea, and I also told you this can be a red flag. The reason is there are players here, they have done it before and they'll keep doing it. This is the place where